Or because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So she was, I wrote, it was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no fucking thing as karma, okay? Get over that.
But it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view.
But you basically go after Trump and Biden, you know, both of them. And a lot of people are not happy with you about that. I'm
not equally.
Well, not equally, because you know that Trump is doing more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger than I was. I was talking about how he was never going to give up power long ago when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot. And I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot. Finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you fucked in the first place. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying that Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. We are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
The chaos maker is back at it. That well-known figure who always stirs up confusion just made another dramatic appearance, shaking things up in a big way. This time, he didn't hold back. He name-dropped Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin, causing quite a stir. It was bold, it was loud, and it definitely got people talking.
But it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term, because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words migrate.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left? But don't tell me the left
Or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's talking about the left.
Well, they're
okay,
not woke.
but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a joke. But,
Too dark. Too dark.
Well, maybe it is.
Bill Maher didn't hold back on his latest show. He went after the so-called woke crowd, saying they keep making the same mistakes, getting offended, missing the point, and learning nothing. This time, though, he was especially blunt. What made it worse? The whole thing was a joke, but nobody seemed to get it. No laughter, no reaction, just silence. It was like common sense had left the room. Maher called them out on live TV, and no one had a single comeback. They just sat there, stunned. And honestly, when the truth hits that hard, what can you say?
Best.
Are you at all concerned about the innocent civilians that have been collectively punished and murdered, largely children and women? And are you at all concerned about the fact that the International Criminal Court just today issued a subpoena for Bibi Netanyahu?
Well, that's ridiculous, but it's a war.
Why?
It's a war. Because it's a war, and they were attacked, and they're defending themselves. Now, this is a war. Do you think Hamas needs to be destroyed? This is the question.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So how can we do that with a ceasefire?
All right. So Hamas needs to be destroyed because they are a terrorist organization who say openly that they want to commit genocide on the Jewish people, on the state of Israel. That's what from the river to the sea means, okay? And they say it very openly. They said, we did this attack. They've attacked Israel 5 times. They've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the Israeli Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
And stop calling for the annihilation of Israel and all the Jews. They're calling for the annihilation of the Jews.
The self-proclaimed woke crowd seems to be losing its way, cheering for the wrong side and ignoring the very people they claim to stand for. What we're seeing is a full-on identity crisis unfolding right in front of us. At the moment that said it all, when Joy Behar confidently declared, Joe Biden is doing good. Just like that, the mask slipped, and the confusion couldn't have been clearer.
But you basically go after Trump and Biden, both of them. And a lot of people are not happy with you about that. I'm
not equally.
Well, not equally, because that Trump is more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger than I was. I was talking about how he was never going to give up power long ago when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot. And I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot. Because plainly, I was using the term slow-moving coup before he was elected the first time.
That's right.
I said, this guy is never going to concede power. It's impossible to imagine him going, I lost.
Yeah, can't do it.
That's just not in his nature.
So, but I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but
I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence the people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credibility. I do. I mean, my bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Right.
That's. Okay. And look, Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
I know.
But Trump doesn't present that way. You look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
Well, here's what I said. Like when I came back after the strike in September, I said he should get out because he's just lost the faith of people. It's not fair. He's actually done a pretty good job. Yeah. But I said he's going to be Ruth Bader Biden. That's the term I use. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She stayed too long at the fair. Yeah. I remember Obama had her over to the White House, like in 2013, to hint, hey, spend more time with the grandkids. That would not be a good idea, Ruth. And she didn't take the hint, and she was not in good health, and she stayed too long, and she ruined her legacy and got the Supreme Court now to be.
Seriously, what show is Joy Behar watching? No disrespect, but I've spent this entire year trying to spot even one solid win from Joe Biden, and I've come up empty. If there's anything worth celebrating, it's buried so deep no one's found it yet. At the same time, the far left keeps making things worse, digging themselves into a mess with one hand while holding on to denial with the other. It's unreal. And if you think that's an exaggeration, just wait until you see what's next. The clip speaks for itself. You'll watch them spiral into outrage over absolutely nothing. The way they react, you'd think someone set their house on fire.
Finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you fucked in the first place. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying the Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. Yeah, I got bad news for you. They don't have a monopoly on stupid. You wear Queers for Palestine t-shirts and masks 2 years after the pandemic ended. And you can't define woman, I mean person who menstruates. You're the teachers union education party and you've turned schools and colleges into a joke. You just lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person.
It's either a joke they don't like or a truth they're not ready to hear. Same routine every time, fake outrage, exaggerated expressions, like they're trying out for a low-budget soap opera. But let's be real, they don't actually care. Not about you, not about me, and definitely not about anyone outside their tight little bubble of hashtags and groupthink. That's the part they hope you never figure out. All that outrage, it's not about empathy, it's about optics. The action they take is often shallow at best. What they really care about is keeping their audience emotional, distracted, and in the dark about what's actually going on.
That, because of so much incest, has unfortunately had children who are retarded. And the same thing can happen to ideas if they are also conceived in an atmosphere of intellectual incest. Maybe take the clothespins off your noses and actually converse with the other half of the country. Stop screaming at people to get with the program and instead make a program worth getting with.
This is where things start to get truly unsettling. Speaking the unspeakable has basically become the brand now, and no one's been louder about it than the far-left media. They're not even trying to hide the bias anymore. It's right there, plain as day. One day, they'll say one thing, flip it by midweek, and then act like you're the problem for noticing. The gaslighting has gotten so intense, it's almost an art form at this point. That's why voices like Bill Maher are standing out more than ever. Whether you agree with him or not, he's calling it out directly. No soft edges, no dancing around the issue. He's exposing the double standards, the fake outrage, and how narratives keep shifting just to make certain people look morally superior in the moment. And the attitude? It's wild. Some of them genuinely act like they've got a moral GPS that makes them right 100% of the time. There's never a pause to ask, could we be wrong? Not once.